So there's a saying in woodworking that says that you can never have too many clamps. As a general statement, I agree, but in practicality that's not the case. For example, let's say that you have 100 of these spring clamps and you're trying to do a panel glue up. Indeed, you have too many clamps. Spring clamps are useless for gluing panels. On the other hand, I was gluing a bunch of panels the other day and I ran out of pipe clamps. I had to wait until my first panels were dry enough to remove them from the clamp so that I could use them on the next glue up. These clamps, when they're hung in my clamp rack, look like a lot of clamps, but whenever you use 5 to 6 clamps for a small glue up and then you have several panels to put together, you quickly run out of clamps. I like these 3/4 inch pipe clamps. Some of these clamps I've had for more than 25 years and I keep buying more. I've got some friends that have some of the Bessie parallel clamps and they swear that they're the best clamps ever made. I've never used them, so I don't know. However, I've worked with these clamps a long time and I know how to get out of them what I need. You can use either galvanized or black pipe, just go with whatever's cheaper at the time. If you have access to a pipe threader, you can go to a plumbing supply house and buy the 21-foot sticks and then cut and thread them to whatever length that you need them. Or you can buy varying lengths from the big box stores. I know Lowe's offers free cutting and threading with pipe purchases because I recently needed some for another project. That's how I ended up with these extra pieces of pipe. They wanted $27 for a 10-foot stick of galvanized and $25 for a 5-foot. I needed a 42-inch stick threaded on both ends, so I was going to need someone to cut and thread both ends for me, and I no longer have access to a pipe threader, so I decided to go with the 10-foot stick and then use the rest for clamps. One of the nice things about threading the pipe on both ends is you can use a coupler anytime that you need a longer clamp. Just screw the ends together and voila, you have a longer clamp. This has come in handy several times, but most of the time I only need a shorter clamp with a 12 or 24-inch capacity. If all my clamps were long clamps, that would make for some heavy glue-ups and make maneuvering these things around the shop rather difficult. As far as half-inch pipe clamps are concerned, I would avoid them like the plague. Of course, not everyone is good at avoiding plagues, so we'll save that for another discussion at another time. If I were going to use half-inch pipe clamps, I would limit the jaw opening to 12 inches or less. The half-inch pipe tends to bend if you put very much pressure on it, which in turn can screw up your glue-up. Then there are these cheap pipe clamps with a funky lever on the back. Let me show you the best way to use these. There you go. Don't buy these. These are the biggest waste of money when it comes to clamps. Another waste of money when it comes to clamps is F-style clamps without a hardened steel bar. Instead, look for ones with a hardened steel bar. Harbor Freight has some good ones that are fairly inexpensive. Another style of clamp that is pretty handy to have are these one-hand clamps. These are great for securing things to the workbench. Even though these have the ratcheting handle, they don't give as much force as some of the other clamps, but they are very handy to have. I even have some of these mini clamps. These can be switched around to work as a spreader as well. I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but I'm sure I'll think of something. They were definitely an impulse buy. Finally, I have these T-track clamps. These come in very handy on my drill press table for holding things in place when drilling. I trust these more than I do my own hands for holding things in the right place. These are also extremely useful for holding things down on my crosscut sled so that I can keep my fingers far away from the sharp spinny thing that doesn't discriminate between wood and fingers. This isn't a saw stop, so it will keep going. Now, there are many types of clamps that I don't have, but for those looking to get into woodworking, these clamps are a good start and will serve you well for a lot of different types of projects. If you like this video, check out my website, damarvelco.com, or follow me on Instagram, @damarvelco. Be sure and hit like and subscribe. Also, check out my other videos here and here. Thanks for watching.